Thank you for tuning into my senior recital podcast. In this podcast, you will hear a collection of songs I've worked on with my vocal trainer, Christy Catt, this semester. I've worked on performing a wide variety of musical styles this semester, ranging from classical arias to jazz standards. Together, each of these songs touch upon themes of love, innocence, and even female empowerment. Upon listening to my podcast, it is my hope that the audience will gain an increased appreciation for songs and composers that are underrepresented in modern-day popular culture. So the first song I will be singing is My Funny Valentine, which was composed by Richard Rodgers in 1937. The song was originally a show tune from the Rodgers and Hart musical Babes in Arms, and later it became a popular jazz standard, and it's been performed by many popular jazz artists, including Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra. And in the original play, the song was sung by a female character who expresses her love for a man in a teasing way, telling him that despite his many flaws, she loves him for all that he is. And it's interesting that this song was written in the perspective of a female while being composed by a man. We might then be able to think of this song as exemplifying how a male imagines a female to experience love.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. It's your figure less than Greek, it's your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak. Are you smart? But don't change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Da ba da da da, ba do da ba da do da da, ba ba da da do da, ba da da, ba do da da. Ba-da-ba-da-da, da-dum-ba-da, da-dum-ba-da, ba-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, da-do-dum. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? But don't change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Each day is Valentine's
So the next song that I'm going to be singing is I'm Beginning to See the Light, which was written by Duke Ellington, Johnny Hodges, Harry James, and Don George in 1944. This is another very well-regarded jazz standard, and it's been performed by many jazz artists, some of which include Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, and Peggy Lee, and it's written in the perspective of a person whose life has been greatly enhanced by the presence of their lover, and now that they're in love, they can appreciate the small joys in life, such as the moonlit skies and the fireflies. And the major key and upbeat tempo of this song perfectly captures the energy of a person who has fallen deeply in love.
I never cared much for moonlit skies. I never winked back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on the mistletoe. But now that you turn the lamp down low, I'm beginning to see the light. Used to ramble through the park, shadowboxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-da-do-da, shoo-doo-ba-da-da-da, ba-ba-doo-ba-da-da-da-do-ba-doo-ba-da-da-da, ba-da-bum, shoo-da-bum-ba-doo-da-ba-da-da, shoo-ba-doo-ba-da-da-da-do-ba-doo-ba-da-da-da. Ba ba da 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 do do da ba ba da ba da ba da do do da ba da ba 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 da da shoo do ba da 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 ba ba do ba da 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 do ba da da da. I never cared much for moonlit skies. I never winked back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on the mistletoe. But now that you've turned the lamp down low, I'm beginning to see the light. Used to ramble through the park, shadowboxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. Ba-ba-doo-ba, da-da-da-da, shoo-doo-ba, ba-da-da-da. I'm beginning to see the light.
My next song is Thinking About You by popular singer Norah Jones. This song was first written in 1999 by Jones and one of her former bandmates. It was later released as the first single in Jones's 2007 album Not Too Late. The song has a unique type of style, combining elements of jazz, country, and soul. In the song, Jones appears to be torn between holding on to someone she loves and letting them go. In the song, you can sense the imprint that this person has left on Jones's life, as she repeatedly emphasizes, "I'll be thinking about you." The song perfectly combines the themes of love and loss, perhaps implying that love is something far too powerful and permanent to simply be washed away from memory.
Yesterday I saw the sun shining, and the leaves were falling down softly, and my cold hands needed a warm, warm touch, and I was thinking about you. But here I am, looking for signs of leaving. You hold my hand, but do you really need me? I guess it's time for me to let you go. But I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. And when you sail across the ocean waters, and you reach the other side safely, well, could you smile a little smile for me? 'Cause I'll be thinking about you. 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 I'll be thinking, yeah. I'll be thinking about you.
I'm very excited to be performing this next song, La Rue Chagrin, by French composer Germaine Taillefer. This piece is particularly exciting to include since it's not commonly performed. Many may be unfamiliar with Germaine Taillefer since she was overshadowed by the male composers she performed with. In 1920, Germaine and a group of 5 male French composers formed a group called Les Six. The music of Les Six was seen as a reaction against the musical style of Richard Wagner and the impressionist music of Claude Debussy and Maurice Ravel. Unfortunately, due to financial strain, Germaine began to lose creative motivation and was almost unable to compose if not for commission. Still, she created many important works during the 1920s, including First Piano Concerto, the Harp Concertino, and several ballets. Her song, La Rue Chagrin, that I will be singing, translates to the sad street. The slowness and the fluctuating dynamics of this piece captures a possible emotion of heartbreak, hopelessness, or lost love. By bringing the song into the light, I'm allowing Germaine's once silenced voice to be heard once again.
Quand ton regard devient couleur d'étang, y a quelque chose qui se casse là-dedans. C'est comme si mon pauvre cœur boutait comme si je me carvelais sans feu dans une rue qui s'appelle foyer des lampes des gouttes d'eau, ça me donnait tellement soif de t'embrasser. T'étais si loin que je pouvais pas toucher. Fais pas semblant de voir, mais non c'est glacé. Et en bloqué mon corps qui roule sans fin dans une rue qui s'appelle
This next song is called Como Nací en la Calle de la Paloma, and this is a Spanish song which translates to How I Was Born on the Street of a Dove. And the song is a number from a zarzuela called El Barberio de Lavapiés, which is set in the Spanish neighborhood of Lavapiés in 1776. A zarzuela is a form of Spanish musical comedy that alternates between spoken and sung scenes, so it's similar to what we would think of as a modern-day musical or even an opera. And this particular song is sung through the perspective of a character named Paloma, who is in a lower class position as a seamstress. In the song, she describes her innocent fantasy of becoming a dove who just flies freely across the sky. We might think of her fantasy as embodying a deeper desire for her to acquire the freedom and the power that she currently lacks in her low-status life. However, in the song, she realizes that even for a dove, life's hardships are inevitable.
Como nací en la calle de la Paloma, ese nombre me dieron de niña en broma, y como vuelo alegre de calle en calle, el nombre de Paloma sigue dándome, aunque no tengo vuelo torno salado, siempre está mi cabello limpio rizado, y aunque mi pobre cuerpo no tiene pluma, siempre estoy fresco y blanco como la espuma. En la limpieza paloma soy, y saldré vengo por donde voy, yo mi nombre de paloma siempre fiel. Ni tengo ganas, ni tengo ganas, ni tengo ganas, ni tengo ya. Como está mi ventana cerca del cielo, y por las palomas siente el vuelo, cuando vio en mis vidrios que el asoma, tener quisiera vuelo con las palomas, pero al ver que la venden en el mercado, y que los pobres mueran en esta
my last song for today is Stability, which is an aria from the Italian opera Così fan tutti. And an aria is a type of musical composition that's performed by one vocalist during an opera. In this particular opera, Così fan tutti was composed by Mozart during the 1700s. And the aria is sung through the perspective of a female character named Despina. And she's actually similar to the character Paloma from the previous piece in some respects because she's also in a lower status position. In the story, she works as a maid for two other female characters whose names are Fiordiligi and Dorabella. And in the opera, the basic premise is that Fiordiligi and Dorabella are engaged to two men, Guglielmo and Ferrando, and Despina helps to disguise Guglielmo and Ferrando, who then try and seduce the women in order to test their faith. And throughout the song, Despina offers her worldly advice to Fiordiligi and Dorabella, and she essentially warns them not to fall victim to male manipulation. So therefore, in spite of her low status, Despina embodies a wise and strong female figure who is able to rise above all that might limit her.
Stability in a soldier, and virtue in a man. Whoever saw it since the world began. Give me one good example if you can. If you can, if you can. Who'd believe such a sentimental tale of the perfect and ever-loving male? Dealing with womankind, all men are brothers, one like the other. Don't be a feather, never to trust them. Even a weather vane changes much less. Almonds duplicity passes believing, feigning simplicity, lying, deceiving. And when they fool you, oh what finesse! And when they fool you, oh what finesse! Let him be glamorous, clever and handsome, gallant and amorous, stronger than Samson. Do not be gullible, trusting his lies. He wants to pull the wool over your eyes, over your eyes, your trusting eyes. Pay them in kind when they flirt and philander. Sauce for the goose is the same for the gander. Even the best of them meet this veneer. He's like the rest of them, never you fear. Perish the thought of a man who is true. La 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 la. Do unto them as they do unto you. Perish the thought of a man who is true. La 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 la. Do unto them as they do unto you. Perish the thought of a man who is true. Do unto them as they do unto you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my recital podcast. I hope that you enjoyed hearing these songs as much as I enjoyed learning and recording them. Before I close, I would first like to give a special thanks to my voice instructor, Christy Catt, for training me on each of these songs this semester. It has been a wonderful experience building upon my vocal skills and challenging myself with songs that were out of my comfort zone at first. I would also like to say a special thanks to Dr. Hugh Hinton for providing me with such beautiful piano tracks for Como Nací en la Calle de la Paloma, Stability, and La Rue Chagrin. I would also like to thank Paul Garrissey and his band members, Drew Lucci, Stephen Jovelis, and Gavin Burke for producing the amazing backing track for Thinking About You. Last but not least, I would like to say a huge thank you to Andrew Coate for helping me with the technological processes of putting this podcast together. I'm so happy to have accomplished this project, and I truly appreciate everyone's contributions.